In this terrible school, for example, once grades plummet, parents are called in right away. The poor dad's first reaction isn't to comfort his son, but to glare at him ruthlessly. This weighed heavily on On. His dad just glared. On the way, On summoned courage to beg his dad, saying he's bullied daily and can't study. Can he transfer schools? But his dad said nothing, slammed the brakes, jumped to the passenger seat, grabbed On and his backpack, tossing them like trash. And just like that, On was thrown out in the middle of nowhere. The next morning meeting went on as usual. The principal was up on stage giving out awards, talking about ideals like they were raining down from the sky. Why are our medals blue? Because blue is our school color. Just like the endless sky. On genuinely believed it at that moment. He even found himself quite fond of the color, contemplating whether he ought to take up painting or not. But good times didn't last long. After one of Mr. Jew's exams, the grades became a victim of the board's wrath. Parents complained that Mr. Jew was starting an art club and wasting students' time with useless classes. As a result, someone in the board suggested firing him, and fear grew inside On. On held on desperately because he heard the rumor that if they didn't perform, the teacher would be out of a job. In fact, getting good grades isn't that hard if you have a bit of courage, but Mr. Jew refused to stand up for him. They often say blue symbolizes freedom, but now he increasingly feels it's more akin to prison colors. Breathing became so difficult for him that he had to struggle to climb to the rooftop. However, at this very moment, the lively chatter from below the stage persisted. On leaped down abruptly, only to unfortunately end up smashing a hole in the ceiling, with nothing else happening as a result. His classmates called for a moment of silence. After a minute, it barely created a ripple. A vibrant life faded away, replaced by a moment of silence, while the one responsible, a Kiang, wore a poker face. This expression ignited Yi Kun's anger, and he instantly rushed up to beat up a Kiang. But what a Kiang said next shattered Yi Kun's heart. On wanted to switch schools. He thought he needed to be bullied to earn sympathy. Yi Kun hacked into On's notebook and discovered On had made a deal with the Kiang. On's original request was for a Kiang to bully him. Initially, the idea was wrist-cutting, but due to a Kiang's cowardice, it was eventually changed to slapping. On thought if he got hurt enough, he'd win his dad's sympathy, but his dad only saw grades. His father's indifference became the last straw, and the next wave was even more shocking. The transaction between him and the Kiang turned out to have an even deeper and more sinister scheme lurking behind it. A Kiang aimed to entice Yi Kun into the circle as a sacrificial offering. But in the end, he knocked himself out. Then Yi Kun confronted Mr. Zhu, both feeling disheartened about Lin Shuang's death. They rapidly formed an Avengers alliance together. The next day at the school meeting, chaos erupted as the academic system was hacked. Hey Teacher A, what are you doing here? How come you're here? Lin Shuang has passed away. If we continue to blindly follow adults without making any of our own judgments, the next dead person could very well be you. Beware. So where is our freedom, classmates? Let's shake up this awful school. What we want is a sky where we can soar. The students' rebellion was quickly quelled, but the spark was ignited, igniting the hope for change. The principal ignored Yi Kun's yelling and instead turned directly to Mr. Zhu, questioning him about why he accessed the academic system at 4 a.m. If he could latch on to this point, he could find evidence linking him to the hacker. First, he'll be fired. Then you will face criminal charges. Hacking is illegal. To address this criminal status, you will be expelled and face trial. Forging documents is also a crime. Your life will be ruined. Yi Kun intended to speak out, but before he could, Mr. Zhu suddenly revealed his true colors. The hacker is Yi Kun. Last night he came to see me, stating he wanted to wreak havoc for revenge. He had the USB stick concealed in the back of his tie, and he was asking me to allow him to enter. Yeah, it was me, all me, honestly. I didn't want to stay here anyway. You adults are truly dirty, despicable, and shameless. You've done nothing but wrong. It's really disgraceful. However, the cruelty of the adult world didn't end there. The principal called Yi Kun's parents, ostensibly caring but actually setting a trap. Claiming to greatly admire Yi Kun, yet without a strong reason, he couldn't convince the board. Unless he could get first place in the next exam, even though his parents didn't pressure him, Yi Kun still felt immense stress. He spent most days hiding in the restroom studying until he crashed. He kept splashing water on his face to stay awake, but during the next exam, On appeared in front of him. He yanked him into the mysterious space of room 420, cutting off the exit. Yi Kun realized he had no escape route, so with resignation, he looked up at the hemp rope dangling in mid-air. except for placing his trust in the rumors and hanging himself in the hope of a slim chance. There were truly no other options left for him.